mentoring session with Rejwan.
Hi. So Rayhan has asked me to become a potential mentor for the Youth Medical Association. So I thought I'd make this video to introduce myself and give you guys some advice regarding the high school experience and what you can do in the future for colleges and how that translates over when it comes to applying for colleges as well. So a little bit about myself. My name is Rejwan Mehal. I graduated from Bronx Science in 2021, and I currently attend Boston University's College of Engineering. I'm a sophomore, so I'll be graduating in 2025, and I am studying mechanical and computer engineering, so a double major. I'm a Bangladeshi American from the Bronx, and I currently live in Boston for college. So one important thing about high school, and this also translates over to college as well, is how do you deal with extracurriculars in addition to your academics? The YMA is a perfect example of one such extracurricular that's high schoolers can have, even though it is relatively new. As far as I know, it was created earlier this year. But so what are my tips for dealing with extracurriculars in high school? So I would use your first 2 years, so your freshman and your sophomore year, to find your interests. Explore clubs within your school, see what you like, get to know more people within them, because the more people you know, you can talk to them and discover their interest, and maybe that would kindle something in you. So using the first 2 years of your high school experience is a good way to explore those interests and find your place, essentially. Now, extracurriculars don't just have to be in school; they can be outside as well, such as doing volunteer work or a job, which I will mention shortly. And within those 2 years, the expectation is that you would have solidified what your interests are and what you might want to lead in. Like what leadership roles would you want to hold? Like what are your main clubs and activities that you enjoy doing? So commit to those by the end of your sophomore year and stick to them, and eventually run for leadership positions and try to hold leadership positions. Those look really good for college applications. So what did I do in high school? Here's just a few things. So I was a part of the Bronx Science Chess Club since my freshman year, and then by my senior year of high school, I became the treasurer of the organization. But considering that we had my senior year was entirely virtual, there wasn't really much dealing with money or treasury work to do. It was just a title. I was also part of the MSA at Bronx Science. By part of, I don't mean like I was actually involved in it. I just knew a lot of people in the MSA, and I would just go to their events, be supportive, and just be there. So even that counts, I suppose. Even though I didn't really actively participate in MSA events, I was there for the event. I was there for traditional events and picnics, just to be there and support my friends who were a part of the club. I also did volunteer work outside of school at a part of the Solution. That's a food bank in my local area in the Bronx. I'm not sure if there are any other branches, because it's been a while since I did work for POTS. This was, I believe, back in my sophomore year, so that's sophomore year of high school, so that's 4 years back. And I'm a sophomore now in college. So yeah. But I think one of my biggest extracurriculars was my job. I started working at Moments Tutorial. Some of you may have heard of this. This one's a tutorial that prepares students for Common Core standard exams in K-12 grades, as well as exam preps for the SHSAT or SAT or ACT. I worked here a little after my junior year of high school. I worked all throughout my senior year of high school, teaching students in mostly math for the SHSAT and and middle schoolers. Yeah. I worked with middle schoolers mostly, as well as the batch of SHSAT and one group of SAT kids. What I will say about jobs, though, is that you shouldn't focus on working for the money. You guys are relatively young in high school. What you should do is try to build up a responsibility, get a good sense of the responsibility, and work for the experience. Learn what you can early on, and eventually apply that when you do a job for real when you're an adult. Now, extracurriculars in high school kind of translate over to college in the same ways. I would say the same things in terms of building your interests and committing to things. But the point is that because you've already built up a decent amount of interest and commitment in high school, you would go towards those same clubs and organizations anyway. But I feel like there's a greater range of extracurricular activities to do in college, so definitely look out for those, explore those, because in college you'll have professional organizations, like frats. I know frats go into Greek life, but there are some professional frats, fraternities and sororities, for engineers, for business majors, for psych majors, for medical students as well. So those are some professional organizations to be a part of. They really help connect you with people down the line that can get you into jobs and just make your overall college experience much better. You can also do athletics. Definitely something to think about. You can pursue athletics in high school, and then if you want to continue doing that, that's always an option. As far as athletics goes, there's obviously the professional ones where you play for your college team if you're at that level, or you can just play casually for a club team. I do play for a club team, the BU college club team, which I'll mention in a bit. They're also just cultural organizations. I'm a part of a bunch of them, so that's definitely something that doesn't change from high school. And then there are always just, chill clubs, because college can be stressful. So, there's just a way to, if there was anything to help you relax, calm down, there are chill clubs in college, like the board game club. But yeah, as far as extracurricular clubs goes, it translates over very well from high school. But if you want to focus more in your academics, there are obviously things you can do in that area, such as student research. Professors in colleges do look for undergraduate research students. So if research is something you're interested in, perhaps you want to go into your master's and pursue a PhD, building up that research experience early on does help. Internships and jobs are always options again. And finally, participation in academia. By that I mean, professors do look for teaching assistants or learning assistants, so you can hold those positions. That's basically you're in a class with the professor, and if students have questions, your job would be to answer them, because granted, college lectures can get pretty big, so the professor can't answer everybody's question at once, so that's what the TA and LAs are for. So yeah, participating in academia is a big one, but overall I would focus your extracurriculars towards career building or resume building. Like whatever major you commit to, just find organizations and clubs and stuff that are driven towards that. I'm not saying that's the only thing you should be doing. Just, it helps. It certainly helps. But, always don't forget to enjoy life. College is stressful as it is, so just take the time to enjoy life as well. Now, I know this is advice for farther down the line. You guys are in high school. You should be thinking about these things, about how to go about college, but for now, I guess focus on high school stuff. So the previous slide. I guess here are just some suggestions of things that you can do in college from extracurriculars that I'm doing. So I'm a huge Potterhead. So when I went to college, I was approached by the captains of the Boston University Quidditch team. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know the Quidditch was played in real life. I don't want to go into details and explain the rules of the game. You can look it up, like how is Quidditch played in real life on YouTube or something. But it's a really fun sport. I love doing that. And I am currently the president of the BU Quidditch team, or Quad Bowl team. Quad Bowl because the name was changed earlier this year. So as president, I do have to manage the team. It's like running a professional club team, semi-pro, or less than that. We don't get paid, but we do play. I'm also part of the Islamic Society of Boston University, so that's one of the cultural organizations that I do, as well as the Bangladeshi Students Association. I don't hold leadership positions in either of those two, but I am a part of them, an active member for both. So I just try to attend meetings and be there whenever and try to help out. Other than that, I am also interested in research, so I have spoken to a professor at my university, and I will be pursuing research in his lab soon. I'm just going to be like shadowing his lab this upcoming spring semester, and then if I find my place there, if I really like one of the things that they're doing, I can take part in that lab and become an active member there as well. Also, TALA prospects. I'm trying to get TA and LA positions. So if that's something that you're interested in, like helping your peers learn as well as moving forward with your own education, then definitely look out for those. Now another big one aside from extracurriculars is communicating with your teachers. So how to go about doing that? By teachers, I mean teachers in high school. So we're just talking about high schools now. So the first thing, and I feel like the most obvious thing, is building a good relationship with them, with your teachers and your guidance counselors. I'll differentiate between the two and how to go about that in a bit. So for teachers, I think a good way is talking outside of class. I know Bronx Science has SGI, or short group instruction periods after school. Where if you have some questions about a particular class, you can just go and talk to the teachers. So if there are anything along those lines at your particular high school, I would say go pursue that. Just find a way to talk to your teacher outside of class. By talk, I mean like it doesn't just have to be about classroom material. Like yes, you can certainly ask questions and discuss things that you talked about in class. That shows your teacher that you are definitely interested in this class and you care, and it's just a good way to for them to get to know you and vice versa. So definitely talk to them outside of class. Again, it doesn't just have to be about class materials. It can definitely be about anything. Just get to know them personally. For guidance counselors, your guidance counselors are certainly important because they are essentially going to be the ones that guide you into college, that help you along the way through the application process. So it's good to have a good relationship with them because they also need to know a decent amount about you so that they can write your recommendation for you. Because for the college application, you require, I think, in general, you require one guidance counselor recommendation letter and two from two teachers that you've had. And finally, the last thing that's, I think, a common between both teachers and guidance counselors is that you can always just send them emails. Send them emails to book meetings or just talk. But be very respectful in all of those things because it's just a good way to make a good impression of yourself. But yeah, emails are just always available to everybody. I'm sure you guys can come up with other ways of finding ways to communicate with your teachers and just get to know them and build a relationship with them. Now, as far as letters of recommendations goes, colleges usually look for your junior year teachers because they are the ones that had you recently because you start applying to colleges in your start of your senior year. So the teachers that had you the most recently would be your junior year teachers. So they are the best candidates. Now there are obviously exceptions to that. Like if you've had a particular teacher more than once, or a teacher that you've had your freshman and sophomore year who you think you've connected really well with, and they would be able to speak really well of you. That would be a good candidate to ask. Or department heads. Because department heads obviously are the head of a particular department in your school. So they do have credibility. And if you get to know them on a personal level, then obviously, they are good sources of recommendations. Oh, and the last one would be classes that you do really well in. Like, I think that's a big one. It definitely shows that you're academically killing it, so that teacher can say a lot of good things about you academically. So classes that you do really well in, look out, just take note of those. But making a good impression, I mean, again, academically, you can just show that you're doing really well in a particular class, so your teacher can speak well of you. And personality-wise, just just talk to your teachers and get to know them on a human level, and not just like, oh, you're my teacher, you teach me, I do well in your class, I take exams for you, I do your homework. Not like that, just get to know them on a human level, connect with them. And ways to ask for those recommendation letters when the time comes. I think the first thing is reaching out in person, because if you do it in person, it shows them that you actually care about this and that you're asking them as a person and not just, oh, you're my teacher and I have to ask you, because that's what college is asked for. I'm coming to you in particular. So reach out to them in person, or you could always just send a formal email. Again, be very respectful in emails. And then if they do comply, let them know what you're applying to, what you're trying to major in, why you consider them a good person, and why you came to them specifically. But from my experience, the teachers do have their own questionnaire that they want you to fill out, so that they know exactly what to talk about in their recommendation letter. So just reaching out to them and being very specific is a good way to ask for recommendations. Handling grades. I think the most important aspect of high school for you guys should be your education and your grades. That's the most important thing. Like, yes, extracurriculars are important. Yes. Communicating with teachers is certainly important. But your education is the most important thing. So don't stray from that. So only commit to things outside of class under the condition that you have a good academic standing, that you're doing well, and that you can afford to give your time and dedicate your time to this extracurricular thing. But make sure that you're doing well academically, and if you're not, then obviously talk to the particular teacher of that class to see how you can improve. And again, even if you're struggling in a class, but you take the time to talk to your teacher about it and see how you can improve, how you can do better, that does two things for you. One, it shows them that you care about this class and that you're willing to do good in it. So when it comes to putting in final grades, they might bump it up for you, which is definitely a good positive. And number two, it helps them get to know you and your priorities. So, they could potentially be a person that you may ask for recommendations in the future. So not just classes that you do really well in, like I said before, that was just an exception, but even classes that you're not doing particularly well in, but you care about. And one thing I would say is that I know that some high schools do offer classes outside of the core required classes. Like, for example, at Bronx Science, one science requirement was that we need to take one biology, chemistry, and one physics class while being at Bronx Science. But you could easily finish that by the time you're a junior. So once you finish that, we were allowed to choose whatever science classes that we want to go into for our senior year, if we want to take a science class. I think, no, we do have to take a science class every year. But so the fact that you'd finish your basic requirements early on so that you can explore your own interests in class, which is something that I did because I was done with all of my requirements by junior year. So senior year of high school, I decided to take modern physics, because what you're taught normally in physics is Newtonian physics and classical physics. Modern is more on the side of quantum mechanics and stuff. So that was, I wouldn't say it's something I was interested in, but the fact that I took the class helped me to figure out that I wasn't interested in it. So yeah, take advantage of classes that are available at your high school. Go through your requirements and then just pop off and explore your interests. Yeah. Here's a bit about college applications. Again, I don't really know what grade you guys are in, but for the juniors and seniors, I think this one could be a little important. It's just a good insight, I think. I'm not telling you exactly what to do for college applications and how to write them, but it's just a good insight. So communication with guidance is essential. Your guidance counselors, they will literally walk you through the process. So talk to them. Know the deadlines of your particular school and how your guidance department wants things handled, and meet their requirements. And by talk to them, I don't mean like talk to them in your senior year when you're doing the applications. I mean talk to them in your sophomore year, in your junior year, just so that you know what's gonna happen by the time that you do start applying. So just be on top of things. This is for Bronx Science. I don't know if other schools have also done this, but Naviance is where letters of recommendations were submitted, and it's where we had to list whatever colleges we were applying to, so that the guidance department could know that and then make sure that we were on top of things for those applications and guide us through that. Common App is the most widely used application portal by all colleges, mostly. Some colleges have their own internal applications, such as MIT or Cornell, but Common App is the most widely used one. Oh, sorry, not Cornell. Cornell also did Common App, I think. It was a while back. I'm sorry, but Common App is the most widely used one. You can literally just look up a college if they use it. Just look them up on Common App and then see their application requirements and just start answering those questions. Start filling out that college application, because you don't have to finish it in one sitting. I literally had like 7 or 8 applications open at the same time for different colleges, and I was filling them up as I go. Because obviously not all colleges have the same due dates, and you won't be applying to all colleges at the same time, right? Because there are 3 primary stages in which colleges conduct their applications. EA and ED are kind of the same phase, just different names. EA is early action. That says that you're applying to a particular university in the early phase. Early phase means November 1st or 2nd. So that's when the applications are due. Same thing for early decision. The only difference between action and decision is that if you are accepted into your early decision college, you have to commit there. You have no choice. Because of this strict rule, you're only allowed to apply to one ED school, and some colleges don't even have an ED option because they don't want you to make that hard commitment. MIT certainly didn't have an ED when I applied. They only had EA and regular. So know what types of schedule or like application you're submitting. EA is, again, it's an early application, but if you do get accepted, you have the choice. You can either be like, okay, thank you for accepting my application, and I am considering going here, but I also want to look at my other options from the regular section. Regular section is applications that are due January and after. I think the earliest is January 1st, and then some go as late as March 15th. That's the regular phase. Most people will be applying during that regular phase because, like I said, not all schools might have early applications. Stony Brook, for one, I'm pretty sure did not have a regular one, did not have an early action or early decision when I applied. So yeah, keep track of those due dates about when you need to submit your applications, and keep the people that are writing letters of recommendation for you informed, because you only have to use. Sorry, you only get the same letter just given to every single school that you apply to. So you need to let your recommenders know what is the earliest you're applying to, so that they can have that letter of recommendation ready for you, ready to send it out. They won't send it to you. You're not allowed to see it or read it. But I mean, they have to submit it to whatever portal your school uses for recommendations. In case of Bronx Answer, it's not Viance. But keep your recommenders informed so that they can get those letters of recommendations done on time for you to submit your application with everything. Research. Doing research on colleges is the biggest thing. You don't want to just go into a college because it has a good name or like it's well known, because if it doesn't suit your needs and your values, then you are just wasting your time, and you don't want to waste 4 years of your life. Because college is the expectation of college is that you are getting prepared for the real world. You're getting prepared for jobs and for careers. So if you just go to a college because it has a good name and it's very well known, then are you ready to just waste 4 years of your life? I'm not saying that colleges that have real names, that have really well known names, are bad. I just mean, are you sure it's right for you? Yeah, so that's a question that you should be asking yourself. And by college breakdowns, take note of college breakdowns. What the College Board system does is that, based on your SAT, PSAT, and AP scores, which are all taken through College Board, right? So they have those grades. Based on those grades alone, they take all the colleges and they rank them to see what is a reach school for you, like school that would be really hard for you to get into. They also sort out your match schools that are perfect for you, academically speaking, like based on your grades alone. Again, all of these these breakdowns are completely based on your grades alone. It doesn't look at your extracurriculars, it doesn't look at your recommendations, it doesn't look at any of that, just your grades alone. So reach, which would be really hard for you to get into, but I guess there is a very small possibility. Match is perfect for you. And safety is like, if you apply, you will automatically get in. Not automatically. I just mean it would be relatively easier compared to the other two, because academically you are just above the standard. So those breakdowns are a good way to judge where you should be applying. And I would say apply to a decent distribution of all three. Like maybe apply to 2 or 3 reach schools, 4 or 5 match schools, and 3 or 4 safeties, if you're willing to put into that, or just a similar distribution along those lines, depending on how many applications you want to complete. Because again, there is no limit to how many college applications you can submit or how many colleges you can apply to. You can apply to 1 or you can apply to 100. It's up to you. Now, considering that you do have to complete these applications during school, well, I mean, by during school, I mean like while you're still in your senior year of high school, use holidays and weekends well. Use them well to get the most of your work done. Aside from your schoolwork, just get those applications done. You can even start in the summer. It won't be the most updated thing. I mean, so what I did was during my summer before senior year, I created my account on Common App. And then Common App has their own general application that everyone needs to do. It's just like your basic biographical information, and just things about you, things about your finances, things about your family demographics, all of that. So having that big application just done, the Common App General, is just it just makes the process way easier, because once you have all of that big information done, what the questions every single college asks is relatively less compared to the big Common App one. But yeah, holidays and weekends would be your time in school to get those things done. So yeah, that was all the advice that I kind of had. If you have any questions, you can always ask Rayhan or someone in YMA that knows me. You can reach out to me. I didn't really provide any of my contacts, but I guess you can certainly get them from Rayhan or someone else. But yeah, it was nice talking to you guys, giving some advice, and if you have questions, anything, feel free to reach out. And I look forward to helping you guys more throughout this process. Thank you, and have a good day.